Stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looks like we have some recognition tonight.
We do. We'll first start with Student of the Month for the high school. Mr. John Tiller, you want to come up and present those, please?
Good evening, everyone. We've got two Students of the Month this week, or this month. We'll start with our junior high Student of the Month. For the month of April is Matthew Sipes. So Matthew, come forward.
Yeah.
Matthew's got a busy week this week. They had band performance, Mayfest on Monday. Here tonight, they got awards tonight for band. So busy week for him for sure. Our senior high Student of the Month this month for April is Brady Mitchell.
Congratulations. Good. Well, next is Students of the Month for the elementary. Mrs. Hale.
Thank you. So I'm actually going to start with our Teacher of the Year and our Support Staff of the Year, because I know that our Support Staff of the Year recipient needs to leave, I believe, for a baseball game. So I'm going to start with that first. So I'm going to recognize our Support Staff Member of the Year first, and that is Miss Jen Simpson. And I would like to read some of the things that her colleagues said about her when they nominated her. Jen is so sweet and is always smiling. She has made so many connections with students this year and has really brightened the primary hall. I see Jen working in the hall with the little ones, and she is so patient and kind. Jen is so sweet and makes such a difference in the first grade lives she works with every day. She is genuine, cares, and works hard to get the kiddos to succeed. Jen is always working with first grade students in small groups and one-on-one. She is encouraging, hardworking, and very flexible. Thank you so much, Jen. And now on to our Teacher of the Year for the elementary. We have Mrs. Tracy Sipes. And now I'm going to read some words from Tracy's colleagues. Tracy is an incredible advocate for our tiniest Spartans. She keeps our preschool organized and always has a smile on her face. So many of our families want to bring their little ones here because of the trust they have in Tracy and the guidance she has in the pre-K program. She is truly one of the best. Tracy is patient, kind, and energetic while teaching. The kiddos love her. She is a positive, warm classroom. Tracy is always coming up with new activities for her students and adapts all of their needs without hesitating, especially if those needs are social emotional related. She communicates well with parents and staff to ensure all her students have the services they need to be most successful. As a colleague, she is considerate, caring, and generous, lending her time to listen to other staff, sharing what she has available with anyone, and willing to step in to help in any situation. Thank you so much, Tracy. And now we will move on to celebrating our elementary students of the month. So I'm going to start in kindergarten with Miles Schultz. In first grade, we have Evelyn Garcia Hernandez. In second grade, we have Scarlett Versman. In third grade, we have Cohen Schubert. In fourth grade, we have Brady Smith. And in fifth grade, we have Eli Conover. I want to get a picture with all the students. Yeah. Okay, if all the students of the month for the high school and the elementary want to come on up. Oh, favorite question. That's not fair. I would have been on my side.
Good job. Thanks, guys. So we have one more award that we would like to give out tonight, and that is our Staff Tip of the Spear Award. This is the second year we've done the staff Tip of the Spear. Talk a little bit about the individual. This individual's positive impact on Southwestern is immeasurable. He builds meaningful connections with students and works collaboratively with staff, creating a culture of trust and support. He never misses a dress-up day, consistently shows a genuine interest in the lives of students at Southwestern. He truly exemplifies what it means to be a Spartan. Recently, he reached a significant milestone in his coaching career. Even more meaningful than the achievement itself was the presence of so many former students who had turned to celebrate and congratulate him, a testament to the lasting influence he has had. This year's Tip of the Spear goes to Mr. Taylor Meredith.
Yep.
Alrighty, we're gonna get into all the boring stuff, so it's your guilt-free pass to leave if you don't want to stick around. Alrighty, looks like you have an agenda modification.
We do. We have a couple here, and nothing major. First of all, we have items C and F under new business. They're the same. I decide for me is the curriculum that we're using, and it's done through the MOU through Clarity of Central Indiana. So when we do that, we'll just combine those two together.
Okay.
There. So, and then the other thing I have is item I. It says approval of the athletic handbook and coach's handbook. This is just the athletic handbook, not the coach's handbook.
Okay. Do we have any public comments? Hearing none. Go to consent items and claims.
Okay. First, we have the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Any other discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. Next, we have the approval of the accounts payable vouchers. We need a motion and a second.
Good. I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable. I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, you have the financial report and the cafeteria accounts report. Do you have any questions over anything there?
Hearing none.
Hearing none, we'll move on. Oh, sorry, John.
You're fine. New business. You're good.
So first, we have to recommend acceptance of donations and grants here. We have several. So we have the donation. I'm just going to group these together. The donation from Mount Auburn Christian Church in the amount of $50 for the Spartan Food Pantry. And the next three items, I believe these were items where our students actually went out to their houses and provided a service, and so they donated money back. So donation from Julie David, the amount of $100 for the greenhouse. Donation from Sherry Sweet, the amount of $100 for the greenhouse. And donation from Joyce Bannister, in the amount of $100 for the greenhouse. And last, we have a donation from Flat Rock United Methodist Church in the amount of $585 for the Spartan Food Pantry.
I would accept those donations.
Second.
All in favor? 7-0.
Okay. The next two items we have on the agenda are things that was passed through legislation last year. This is something we need to approve every year at our board meetings. First is the recommended approval of continued partnership with Girls Inc. and their Healthy Sexuality Program for the 26-27 school year. This is age-appropriate material about changes in your body and things involving sexuality too. There's no talk of any alternative lifestyles, nothing like that. It's just a straightforward discussion here. And it's something we've done in the past, and I believe all the county schools use Girls Inc. for the same program too. So.
Just to clarify, all of these materials are online for parents to
They
review
will
as
be
well,
available
and then
online,
they can
at least-
opt their child out.
They can. Yep. Good point.
Then I move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, we have the recommended approval of the I Decide for Me curriculum for high school human sexuality unit for the 26-27 school year. And this goes along with the MOU provided through Clarity of Central Indiana. Again, same type of program, age appropriate material that we've done in the past. And other county schools use the same program as well. And you can opt out of it if you choose, and you can access the material online.
Make a motion to approve.
All second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, we have item D, recommend approval of an MOU, Agreement Association for Indiana County's Tax Refund Exchange and Compliance. This allows the school at the end of the year, when patrons haven't paid their fees, haven't paid for items that they've had through the school, that we can turn them over to this unit. And what they'll do is they'll deduct paying these items from their Indiana County tax return. So that's just a system we're going to use to try to receive some of the money back. Things like a lost book from the library, there's a fee assessed, we never see the money. This allows us a chance to get that and retrieve that. So
What is the minimum that gets turned over?
$25, I believe. Yeah.
And then this also has information available online that they can see the process, and there's an appeals process for it.
There's an appeals process through the unit too. Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. The next item on the agenda we have is recommended approval of an MOU between Shelby Eastern and Southwestern. This is for occupational therapy services. Right now, we receive OT services in an MOU with Flat Rock Hall Creek and Edinburgh. The occupational therapists at Flat Rock Hall Creek, they're the ones that provide those services, and then their OT comes out to our buildings. That person's left and they can't find a replacement for them. So as a result, they chose to back out of the agreement because they couldn't find someone to fill that. And so therefore we're kind of left out in the cold here. So instead of being left out in the cold and trying to find someone ourselves, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Shelby Eastern has a person that has gaps in their schedule that'll step right in and cover us. So we're choosing to go through the MOU through Shelby Eastern.
Any discussion? Questions?
I should add too, we'll pay 34% of the salary and they'll pick up the 66% will be paid through Shelby Eastern. So, which is about what we're paying right now. We're paying a third right now, so we'll still be paying about a third. So
We don't have any needs in that area that we're not getting met, correct?
I'm sorry.
This will meet all the needs that we have.
It should be, yeah,
in
this will meet
area.
all the needs that we have in that area. Yeah.
Move to accept. Somebody approve the MOU.
I'll second. All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. Next, remember I did F with C, so we'll move on to approval or reduction of the following positions. So we have 4 positions that we're gonna reduce this year, for next school year, reducing now for next school year. Our 4 positions are the health physical education position at the junior senior high school, assistant principal position at the elementary school, an elementary teaching position at the elementary school, and then an instructional assistant position at the junior senior high. This isn't something we want to do, but it's something that we're faced with, that we need to do. We need to cut spending, especially in our education fund, and this is going to save us over $250,000 of money that we're going to spend every year out of our education fund. I will tell you that all but one of the people that are mentioned here that are in these positions have found other employment and they have employment now, or they chose not to get employment next year and they've resigned the position. So again, not something we want to do, not something we like to do. And frankly, I will tell you that all these positions are positions that were nice to have. They weren't necessarily positions that we have to have. And so we decided to make the tough decision.
This does all result from more or less the Senate Bill 1 where it cut property taxes, not more or less
Results.
broad strokes of that.
Some of that, it's also, I mean, some of the problem with what everyone is facing is the declining enrollment in the school too. And that's part of it as well, the lack of any increased funding, in our education fund. So, yeah. You just need enough approval.
I move to approve.
Second. All in favor? 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have approval and rules revisions from our student handbooks for the upcoming school year. We'll start with the elementary school. No, you don't. No. Just, we have the handbook changes. They've already seen the handbook changes.
We're waiting on presentation.
They've already seen the changes. We're just here to provide any background support that we need, any questions that we have. So we had updated board member changes. Updated the school staff as well. We have an annual asbestos notification that we're deleting from the handbook. Instead, we're just going to put that on our website so people can access that anytime, especially if it changes. It's difficult for the schools to do this in their handbook. It just makes more sense to house that on our school webpage. Cancellation of school. Removed any additional days missed exceeding the limit of designated makeup days will be assigned as e-learning days because of our e-learning changes that we had. There's an addition to indoor air quality, the handbook that we have to do. And then dining guests, it's per state law. We added this per state law. Dining guests must sit at a table with their student that is separate from other students. No outside food or drink is allowed in the lunchroom. And again, this is not of Southwestern's choosing. It's a regulation that we have to follow. So that's that. And then the other thing that we're working on here is sometimes we interchange the word policy for procedure. And what we're trying to do is if it's not a board policy, we're not going to call it a policy in our handbook. And we've got some growth. I'm sure there's areas, not only in the elementary handbook, but also the high school handbook and maybe the athletic handbook. But we're going to be working on changing that to talk about those things as procedures. And then we have our policies that are board approved policies. So just to kind of.
And this was in our packet that we've been able to review.
That was in the packet that you reviewed. Yeah. And you've seen the whole student handbook for next year. So I will say that we contemplated doing the cell phone policy because that's changed. We're going to be looking at changing that policy. That's one of the things we're going to get our first reading tonight to talk about in the high school handbook. Frankly, it's not a large issue in our elementary school where we have cell phone issues. And because we're going to have a board policy, I don't know that it's something we necessarily have to add to our elementary handbook if it's not been there in the past. It hasn't been an issue. Again, we already have a policy that they have to follow that'll be our new board policy, hopefully in June after we do our second reading. So, do you guys have any questions for me or Beth about any handbook changes?
Not about handbook changes.
No. Okay.
I move to approve said handbook.
So we approving the elementary and the high school?
I'm just gonna approve, let's just do the elementary handbook and then we'll do the high school next. Let's just
Okay,
approve
there's
the
one line
elementary.
items, that's why I didn't.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and approve the elementary handbook
Okay.
and then we'll talk about, we'll just do them individually if that's okay with you.
Yep, so we
Yeah.
had a first and a second?
Yeah.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. So we'll move into the high school handbook. We, on page 7, we deleted a section that says student that has a concussion will not be able to have cell phone during the day, because we're changing the cell phone policy that no one should have a cell phone. None of our students should have a cell phone during the day. Basically, the gist of it is that students are gonna be required to keep their cell phones put away all day long in their locker, or in their car, but they're not to be out. School day starts when they get on the school bus and before they walk into the school building. So if they get on the school bus at that point, they need to have their cell phones put away. They walk into the school building, at that point, they need to have their cell phones put away. They shouldn't be out, and they should not be out until they leave at the end of the day. This is a result of legislation passed down by the state of Indiana. We're just following their guidelines. Frankly, when I started as an administrator, I think most schools had this rule. They just didn't allow cell phones in the classrooms or in the school at all. They had to be out of sight, put away, in your locker. Can't have them. If they're out, you see them, they'll be confiscated. If a student refuses to turn it over, it'll be active insubordination, and they'll be sent to the office and dealt with there. So we're just kind of following that, those rules there. So the other change we have on page 21, exception to this rule, the student should be able to utilize a personal electronic device during the after-school extracurricular activities. So they'd be allowed to use their devices at the after-school activities. 25 was we added staff and parents shall use Parent Square as the main platform for two-way communication concerning students' academic progress. Email and telephone are several ways for parents and staff to communicate regarding academic progress, so just adding that Parent Square component. Page 26, we had a description of the dress code that you can see that's available. Page 4, we talked about the school year, and e-learning days will involve live instruction from 9 to 12:55. That coincides with what we changed this school year, and they'll receive help until 3 o'clock. And then there was a section in there, we're going to talk a little bit about this later on, the Spartan Virtual Learning Academy, that will have that option. We plan to have that option available once it's approved, and this will be in our student handbook then, that we have that option. And again, we removed everywhere, tried to remove everywhere it says policy to a procedure or rule. So, if you have any questions about
It's me.
I
I just want to say thank you. Anybody who was here this time last year knows that I asked for a little bit more description in that dress code, just so that they can't say, wait, this is my version of appropriate. So I appreciate the breakdown.
Any other discussion?
I'm sure that the enforcement of that cell phone policy will be difficult, but I do appreciate it. I think it'll be, I hope it'll be some good results for the kids in the long run, so, for what that's worth.
It'll be some growing pains, I'm sure, with it, and,
Yeah.
I will say at orientation, we learned that they are going to force the kids to lock their lockers now. So that.
But if you put their cell phone in, they're like,
Correct. So I don't know if it's just laziness or they just don't want to learn how to
Put
use
that
the
new iPhone in
lock,
that locker, I
but
bet
they're
they have
gonna use those now. So
Yeah.
I will help. I will make a motion to approve.
I would second that one.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Thank you.
It'll be funny. There won't be a locker without a locker room at all.
I might have it on my papers here, sorry, folks. Okay. Next, we have the athletic handbook. So in there, we have changes that were outlined for you. Broward County was added as a conference member. Number 9, I think, unless allowed by IHSA, in the IHSA by law, it's like throwing a baseball or softball. Change the definition of moratorium week. And page 11, we changed athlete must attend at least the last 4 classes of the day in their entirety to be eligible. We also added parties to school. Student athletes are expected to be at school on time every day, and it's understandable that things happen, that items happen during that process. And student athletes expected to be at school on time the day after. On time the day after a game or contest too. So not having the excuse that we had a game last night, so I didn't come to school the next day or came to school late. So, and then we added page 17, added or email when contacting a coach. Proper chain of command was stated in there. Player coaching staff meeting, parent player coaching staff meeting, parent player coaching staff AD meeting, AD principal meeting, and then AD principal superintendent meeting. So we also changed second violation. The athlete ejected from IHSA sanctioned contest for a second time in sport will receive a 5-game suspension. The third violation in the athlete from ejected from IHSA sanctioned sport will be removed from participation for the remainder of the year. And then there's 2 changes that are listed there from page 19 as well that you can see. So, is there any questions?
I do want to point out that on the changes, it is highlighted that parents must wait 24 hours to contact a coach. That's a big one. Sometimes you're pretty heated in the moment, so it's a good idea.
Yep.
I move to approve. And
All second. All those in favor? 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the guidelines for the Spartan virtual school. Mr. Tyndall, you want to come up and talk a little bit about the Spartan Virtual Learning Academy, what that'll look like?
Okay.
A new venture for us next school year.
Just kind of some basic information. This would be run through Edmentum Ed Options. Edmentum currently provides us with our online schooling that we use in the building for specific courses. They do offer an all-inclusive academy-style learning experience that is online. So how that would work is if kids are enrolled in that, they would go through us to get their schedule. So we would still schedule them, make sure that they're on track for graduation, meet with those parents and do all those scheduling. And then we would implement that into Power School, and then that would talk to Ed Options Academy and assign them classes. For those classes, they would have teachers that are provided by Edmentum to manage how they're doing in a class, to check how they're doing in class, all the progress. They would meet with them, but they would also coordinate with us as well if they are seeing deficiencies in that student's learning. So we would have a coordinator on site that person would be communicating with, and then obviously as those things come out, administration would step in and intervene when students are not meeting the expectations of completing those courses.
Can I pause you real quick for just a second? You talked about a learning coordinator. You kind of have a person that does that right now, Carol Dunnigan. So one thing we may be talking about later on is some sort of incentive for her and increased pay, because she's going to have a little bit more responsibilities than what she's had in the past that we'll look into, but that's for a later date.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and she would have certain things that she would do to not only communicate with Edmonton daily, but also to communicate with myself and Mr. Meredith to make sure that attendance is being properly addressed, student academic progress is addressed. They're going to have to abide by these same standards that we're setting in our handbook, just online. So that would be us making sure that quarterly that they are meeting sufficient academic progress, and if not, formulating a plan so that they're either coming back into the building or that we're going to get them on track on the online platform. But the best part about it is they're home. They would be able to complete all of their assignments, all their classwork online. We would be able to see that progress on our end. One thing that goes into that as well is they would be able to attend Blue River career programs and then also play athletics if they're part of Southwestern Community or Virtual Learning Academy. What kind of questions do you have in regards to that? Yeah.
The diploma tracks, are all of them still available with that option?
They are outside of the Indiana College Core. So the Indiana College Core would not be able to be achieved through the Ed Options Academy. That is a conversation we can have with parents. There are other online options in which they could achieve that, but not through the Ed Options Academy.
And then one more for the sports teams. Transportation, when transportation's provided to the team, are they included in that?
They would, as long as they can get here.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. To and from school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we wouldn't be picking them up from their house. They would need to come to school
Correct.
and ride the bus to the event.
If you do, I'll sign up.
They have more options than somebody who comes in the building.
In some regards, yes. In some regards, no. When it comes to electives, absolutely. There's like earth and atmospherical sciences. So there's a plethora of science classes that they could take that we don't offer in the building. So there are in some regards. When it comes to your traditional math, your traditional ELA, those are pretty standard.
So they wouldn't get the college core, but would they have dual credit options?
There are some, but not all. Okay, so a lot of those dual credits that we offer in the house, like ELA, there are not those types of dual credits within that platform. But again, there are other platforms that we can discuss with families that would be outside of the Ed Options Academy. But that would not be the program or platform that we use as the school.
Is this like an all in or not type of situation? Like say that you talked about there's a little bit more electives available for the students. Is that something like a traditional student could have one period a day where they're taking a elective that they could
We already do that.
Okay.
So at Momentum right now, if there are electives or other courses that students want to take, we can work those into their schedule already. So that would still be available to them, yes.
Would the students be required to be at a computer for a set amount of time, or is it kind of?
I would say that it is progress based. And with our knowledge of how Momentum works, there are students that can run through courses quicker than others and spend less time, but have a higher grade or higher progress rate than others. So I don't think it would necessarily be time oriented, it would be progress oriented.
So you may have already said it and I totally missed it. Can they walk at graduation with our kids? How does that?
I would say yes. I would say that they would be a Southwestern graduate, that they would still be part of their cohort. So those things that the senior cohort would do, they would be a part of that, whether that be prom or graduation or anything of that nature. The one thing that they would not be a part of is our GPA ranking system. Okay, so that would not.
Top 10.
Correct. Yeah.
My brother went through whatever it was during COVID that we did here, and then he stayed. And I just want to like really make it clear, and hopefully I hope that we are as a school, you really have to be self-motivated to do the online schooling and be successful at it. And luckily my brother was,
right.
But I know a lot of people that I went to school with that were not. And so it's a great option, but you really have to have that self-motivation and that work ethic to be successful at online schooling.
And that's why having a coordinator who's going to help manage that progress and communicate with us is going to be so important so that we can continue to be communicative with families when they're not successful.
And since they will be coming back for the state testing, correct? So those scores will count with.
Correct. Yep. So SAT, iLearn, all those different things they would have to come into the building and take it on site.
And then if there is a student that's not succeeding, I guess, is there like a trigger point where they have to come back, or is it all kind of individual based?
I would say, let's say it's individual based. We're going to formulate a plan, and I think a plan could be different for every student.
Something we talked about, if the students 2 or more failing grades in any quarter,
right,
then we're going to have to require them to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look at standardized testing. If we can show that they're performing lower than they were on a standardized test when they started that could be a talking point to come back. Online or on site, online's not working for you right now. It's obvious, we can see that. Let's get you back in the building. And work through that.
Yep.
And then, if we have student handbook violations, that can be a situation where they're required to come back to on site. So.
But we can require them to come back.
Yes. Yeah, because they would be our students. So we can, technically it would be an alternative placement where they would be online. We can bring them back in the building at any time.
One more, you had mentioned, so this is based around mentioning them being able to attend prom and other senior activities and so forth. For the other grades, does that also hold true? I'm thinking field trips. Are they a part of those also?
I would say no, because they would not be part of those classes that those students are in.
Okay.
Okay. I would say I wouldn't cross that bridge at this point.
Okay. Fair enough.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yes.
If we could get a motion.
Yep. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have recommend approval of our summer read and feed. Headed up by Joanna Yim. She does a great job. Just the dates are June 9th, 16th, 23rd, 30th, July 7th, and 14th. Very similar to what we've had in the past. We have a flyer here that I'm not sure if it's out yet, but if it's not, it will be out so people can see when that's taking place. So just need approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Thank you.
You have a bunch of policies here that have changed, all due to legislative requirements. They come from CCH&A. So this is just the first reading of the policy. So let me read through them here. We have A300 responsible use of technology internet policy. This basically allows parents to, if they want to restrict access in the evening, they're allowed to. They contact the school and restrict access in the Chromebook. That's something we can do. That's a policy. We have the wireless communication device policy that we spoke already tonight, dealing with cell phones and wireless devices. Student handbook, academic engagement, truancy prevention policy, C175. We have C525, medical needs at school. F101, budget adoption and implementation. F125, purchasing procedures and capital assets. That's kind of an interesting one. That's one where we're no longer allowed to do an auto renewal for something we're purchasing. We can do like a 3-year agreement, but it can't be automatically renewed every year. It has to be something that we agree to every year. It's not just automatic. So, corporation, H125, corporation support organizations, and H150 is public records. Public records, they kind of outlined what we can charge someone who has a public records request. We get a lot of those anymore, a lot of public records requests from vendors wanting to see a large amount of information that we have and how we can charge those entities. for that service, so it can be time consuming. Time to time, especially if it's not something you can just click a button and spit it out, something you have to spend more time with.
Yeah, what are the reasons for these vendors, public record triggers? Just, I assume it's trying to sell something in some fashion.
Yeah, see how much see basically how much we're paying for an item and see what they would like to do, or do they provide a service that they see we're going through several vendors maybe, and that's something it's generally not just the Southwestern, it's a blanket request they send out to all the corporations.
Right.
And then we're all trying to get that together, so. Yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
Big deterrent.
So, yeah. That's just the first reading, so I don't think we need to do any approvals or anything. Do you guys have questions?
I got a question
Yeah.
about, so the state changed legislation regarding the AEDs. Are we changing how many we have, or like, are we going to continue maintaining our, what is it called, an AED? It's an AED, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna continue.
I looked it
that.
up before I said it out loud, but then everybody
Yeah.
looked at me like I was really
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. I mean, to my knowledge, we'll continue the ones that we have.
Yeah, we're not gonna increase it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I just knew it was a big thing
It really
where,
didn't change, like,
No.
there was a lot of
The
Facebook
wording
drama.
changed, but it's not.
Yeah, they didn't really change that bill.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna affect like private schools a lot more than public schools.
gotcha. I just wanna make sure if I go down, it's there.
I mean, we
So.
might leave you the notification.
It says in the policy, actually.
Oh, wait.
No, it.
All right, thank you.
Ready?
Oh, I'm sorry. Next we have item N, recommend to approve payment to Tecton Construction Management, the amount of $34,563.21. This is for the quality plumbing and heating to deal with the HVAC project.
Questions? My same question as always, we're within budget and plan
Yeah.
of all those activities, and right now it seems like things are
For the HVAC.
popping up in the parking lot.
Yep.
So it's moving forward.
Yep, fast and furious.
Yep.
As soon as
Okay.
June 1st rolls around. Yep.
I move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor? 7-0.
Next one is recommend to approve payment to Tecton Construction Management, in the amount of $22,400 for the GeoBond project. This is just for their construction management that they've done throughout the process, so.
Make motion to approve.
All second. In favor? 7-0.
Next, we want to recommend approval to pay Rowing IT Solutions for Chromebooks. We have our Chromebooks that we purchase every year that are on our 3-year cycle, and this is just another year we're going to purchase Chromebooks, and they always seem to keep going up in price. So.
Shocking.
They never go down.
I move to approve.
If I could ask real quick, any new toys or thermostats that come with these, or?
Same model, different processor. Intel chips have been hard to come by. I don't know if anyone's been following that news, but chips are very hard to come by now. So Chromebooks, and this is across all Chromebooks, they've moved to using mobile chips. So it's a different processor, but it's going to be the same model. It's still older than the Chromebooks that the students are using today, and it still comes with the same warranty that we have on the ones we have today too.
Thank you.
I'm so shocked that you did not say that's fine, we can go back to paper and pencil. But I'll second.
All those in favor?
Oh, I mean, if it's
That one.
I will vote. I'm just saying.
7-0.
Damn, I didn't see that listed.
And
Does not-
item P, recommend approval to Edmonton for a total amount of $22,912.63. This is over 3 years, so this is a 3-year agreement. So it's not all upfront, it's broken down and a third every year. This is for on-site classes through Edmonton. This is the thing this is what we've done in the past. This isn't for a new virtual academy, so.
I assume the virtual academy will have a new set of fees from which to go with later.
Yeah.
I move to approve those.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. And last, you have an overtime report there. Nothing needs to be approved. So. And that's the end of new business. A lot of new business tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any reports or
I don't have any reports or presentations, we kinda already did that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah. So, next we'll go to.
You're fine.
Keep on stepping on your toes.
You're fine.
Let's go to personnel.
Yeah.
We have, leaves, resignations, and terminations. First we have a resignation of Yvette Clemens, a sixth grade teacher, effective May 28th. Resignation of Cecilia Go as elementary principal, effective May 8th. She's actually started her new position. Resignation of Allie Fix as JV basketball coach, effective April 28th. And resignation of Tristan Duclos as cafeteria worker, effective May 15th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Yeah, but. Brad second. All in favor? 7-0.
Next, we have a recommendation to hire, we are hiring a fourth grade teacher, Olivia McLean. We're excited to have her here, so she'll be joining us next year as a fourth grade teacher. We had a couple positions come open to resignations, remember, we're not filling one, filling the other one, so. Recommend to hire Alexis Shepherd, Brandy Evans, Swana Park, and Megan Harden, cafeteria staff for the summer feed and read program that we already approved, and then recommend to hire actually 5 coat for summer school reading for the elementary school. If you remember, we have to offer reading program, summer school reading for any student that didn't pass iRead, and so that's an option. I'm not sure we're going to have anyone sign up for that right now, but we have to offer it. So those are recommendations to hire.
Make it approved. Put time down real second. All right. All in favor again. 7-0. We'll just have the same delay.
Next, we have superintendent comments. I have a few here that I want to talk about. First of all, I want to send out condolences to Dale and Sharon Sandifer, bus drivers of ours who recently lost their son Mike, and our hearts are with them. Seems like this is starting to be a bit of a regular occurrence every board meeting here. It's, that we don't like to do, but I certainly want to send our prayers and well wishes out to Dale and Sharon. Registration, we're going to do an early registration. That'll open very soon. We sent it out to staff members today, just get some feedback from where we're at, but we're going to do the early registration again. Hopefully to send that out by the end of the week this week, and we want to try to have everyone done by the time school gets out. This will help us for planning for next year, especially we talk about transportation, who needs a bus, who doesn't need a bus, making sure that we have trips aligned appropriately. And so yeah, so that. We got a lot of celebrations here at the end of the year, graduation coming up, our 5th grade and 6th grade graduation programs. We have a works banquet tonight. We have the FFA banquet on Saturday. Just a lot of cool things going on right now. So, just want to tell everyone, keep going. We're almost there. We're almost there. So, keep doing a good job. So, and the last day of school, don't forget, is the day after Memorial Day. We got to come back for one day after Memorial Day. So, that's all I have.
Board comments?
Nothing.
Nothing. No comment.
Thanks for coming.
Just a quick comment, those who were able to attend Mayfest, earlier this week, really a phenomenal program. Band, choir, and Spartanet leaders just have continued to grow, what they're working with, and it was a very pleasant program. So recommend you joining next year.
Just want to repeat the condolences for the Sanford family, and thanks very much for coming. No comments from me.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
Have a good evening.